Hey guys, whew, how are we doing? Let me just get that a little situated. All right, so number one, if you are a health coach, drop a 1. Or maybe some like happy fruit emojis or all that good stuff. If you are a nutritionist, drop a 2. If you have extended to go to functional medicine school or anything, drop a 3. So I'm going to, hey Trina, I'm going to just say it like it is, because I think a lot of people, they think that sometimes you talk in a certain way for a marketing purpose. But I was sitting there thinking, and as I always do, about my business in the early days and what it took. And I remember sitting there making optin freebies, being a Mailchimp, making lists, doing all of that, and thinking about the multiple different offers and entry points that I needed to have for my business. So I'm actually going to show you a little funnel, and I'm actually going to pull my little whiteboard over. But I'm going to tell you why this one signature program never worked. Now, let me just preface this by saying, you don't want to be all over. You don't want to be all over the place. You don't want to specialize in 80 things. But you want to sit there and think about your niche or your avatar, and then underneath, what do they actually need? And what are some of the problems? And I'll give you an example. For example, if you specialize in hormones, what is one of the problem areas? Because people buy because they have a problem, or people contact you, or they find you because they're Googling and they find a YouTube video, or they find a post or anything. They are searching possibly hormone. Is it weight gain? Is it weight loss? Is it estrogen dominant? Is it digestive issues, sleep issues, sex drive issues? What are the very issues? And what could also be the other group that you work with? Possibly people with autoimmune. So when I worked my business and I created my first detox, which was on my site, which was exactly what I sold and what really defined who I am. That was my signature program. What I realized pretty fast is that, yes, some people, of course, were going to come right to my site and they were going to download it. They were going to buy it, download it, and do it. What I realized for a number of other people is they weren't comfortable doing a detox. They never wanted to do a detox. And so I realized pretty fast when I was struggling in my business that even though I thought it would be helpful for somebody to do a detox, that wasn't necessarily what they wanted or what they felt they could do. And so for that same exact person, what would they need? What was their pain point? Was it sugar? Was it digestive issues? Was it their autoimmune? Was it energy? Whatever it was. That was actually when I started to realize I had to branch out, and that the struggle was not fun, and it made me literally want to quit. So then I went back to the drawing board. I still kept the detox there because that is what I was about. But I realized that those people who would never detox, they would be super scared, even if I educated out the wazoo. Even if somebody knew this was Whole Foods and I showed pictures and everything, and I used to, I would do that with all my programs, just like I suggest for you guys. I realized, okay, how do I desludge? And this was back before it was paleo or grain-free. And so I realized, okay, if I put together a grain-free program. That became my other option for detox. Secondly, I wouldn't go pitch to a gym and be like, hey, my name is Rachel Feldman. I'm coming in here and I want to see if your people here want to detox. At a gym, people are not thinking about that. They're thinking about energy. They're thinking about the last thing they want to do is be detoxing. So I realized I still was staying in my zone. I still was working in my niche, in my subgroups and my groups, and serving the people I needed to serve. But not everyone in the world was going to detox. And then not everyone in the world wanted to go grain-free or paleo. And so then I realized, okay, what if I have like the pillars of health? Because what I found is I was just in pure exhaustion from recreating the wheel on a daily basis. I'd see somebody, we'd go through, and boom, it was like recreating the wheel constantly. Same information I was putting down. Gut, health foods, all the things I'm about. Detox, gut health, and back then it was understanding that you don't have to live by points and counting calories and the scale, that you could learn to restore your digestive health and cleanse your body so you would naturally be at the weight you want to be. Then that led into other places. And this is what I see for other coaches, and this is what I see for myself. I was working moms groups. Would I have a mom do a detox? Probably no. Hey, Jessica. No. The answer is no. When I was stressed, and we live in a stressed world, and I had 2 babies, like if somebody would have turned to me and been like, you're going to detox, I would have been like, ah! Literally the women that I coached, 2 years, 2 different gyms on and off. Some of them, it was tough to just get lemon water there. People feel rushed and busy. So if I stayed in this, here's my signature program, I wouldn't have had a business. Moving on to the paleo trend. Let's just say it. Whew, let's move on to the paleo trend for a second, okay? When paleo came out, and trust me, I don't do well with grains, I don't do well with beans, I also, at that time, did not do, and still don't do, I'm highly allergic to nuts, highly allergic to seeds, except for pumpkin seeds. But at that time, it was just fat, Lord, fat, this, And I ended up seeing, no joke, 12 coaches from IN that year. Like, I'm gaining weight, I don't feel good. Can I hire you? I know you specialize in digestion. So I realized, this gallbladder, for me, because I had digestive issues, I had toxicity, I had heavy metals, which is why I do detox and why I believe in the power of it, to eat seasonally, to be in alignment with, Mother Earth at that time. And as we go into the summer, this is all about the heart and the small intestine. And this is so important because let me just say this, guys. When we don't cool the body off and detoxify and nourish, winter's a big nourish, but when we don't do that, guess what happens in the summer? Drop summer in the comments if this has happened to you. Rashes, digestive issues, belly bloat, constipation, like a feeling like you have a headache and your sign, everything, because the heat rises and we haven't cooled the body. And the heart harnesses the entire body, and she is actually the one that 100% keeps your shen calm. So if you're not eating those foods and you're not nourishing and you're not slowing down, that evil chi, which is what they call it, just comes and goes, and then all of a sudden there's all these health issues. It's not health issues. It's that just got triggered by the season. So then that leads me also into discussing, like, why do some people think that is one program works? Maybe that does for other people. I know for me, when I talked on a strategy session or a discovery session, when I did free events at the Salt Suite, at Flywheel, at Juice and Java, at all the juice places here, and the many other that I can list here in Florida, people will come up to me after a live event. Hey, I'm really struggling. I didn't go, oh, they're struggling, so I'm going to just put them on this XYZ. And keep in mind, guys, I also work in and live in a red state, now orange. Can we get an amen? I wouldn't say, here's this protocol. I wouldn't say, do this, you have candida, you have this. No. And that is also exactly why you want to, in a red and orange state, make things consistent. So your one-on-one business in a red state still should act like a group coaching. As time went on and I was, then partnering with acupuncturists, or they would say, or doctors, chiropractors, everything, or pitching, I would go and look at their business and say, where is the missing component? I've never been a weight loss coach. You guys all know. If anything over the years, I needed to gain weight. Weight was not my issue. But what I realized is that people in the struggle of year 2 were coming to me and they kept being like, can you help me lose weight? And I was like, why, where, anywhere on my site talks about weight? It didn't. It talked about eating issues. It talked about body image, food allergies. It was my hero journey. And my hero journey, just like yours, has had many stops, many pivots. One thing didn't always work. I'm 43. What worked for me hormonally 2 years ago, 4 years ago, I always say, 18, 25, 35, all these different ages and up, you can see about every 4 years a major shift in hormones. And that changes your body. So I started to realize that I couldn't just be like, oh yeah, I only do this. So all these people are coming to me. I started saying to people, look, I look at weight loss completely different. We don't count, remember this, can't do this in a red and orange state anyway, but Ria, I'll get to that in just a second. But I wouldn't say, oh, well, we're going to cut down the carbs and do this, because I can't say that. And what I realized also is sometimes people are just not ready. The second part of it is if somebody was talking to me on a strategy session or a discovery session and they're saying, I have this, and this going on, I may know in my head, just like all of you know, which is why you love gut, you love adrenal, you love, the core foundational detox, all that. But if your client or that potential person on the phone has said to me, or that person who is talking to me has said to me about 8 times, I'm just so stressed, I'm not sleeping, I'm constipated, I've got all these issues, I can't get off sugar. Sugar gets said about 7 different times, I'm going to say on that, the beauty of working with me is this. We can do a single session and we can discuss before that single session, what are your goals and what really is the biggest thing going on right now that just makes you feel like you just want to cry, or has you waking up on those days and going, I can't believe I ate that. I'm never going to do that again. And then I would say, so also by working with me, I have these 3 starter programs, and that's what I had. And on my site, on my online page, I had those 3 starter programs as do-it-yourself. One was a grain-free, one was a detox, and the other was a simple weight loss. Because what it did by having those, and you can do that with master classes, you can do it, is it tells somebody before they even, and nobody just clicks, nobody just clicks on your work with me. Let's just face it, let's just say the reality and stop pretending in a world of, woo, they don't just click. They come, they find you, wherever. A YouTube video, a blog post, a video, an opt-in freebie, which is changing a little with GDPR. But they download again. They watch you. They talk to you. They may not be, hopefully you convert them right there because you're listening to them. Hey, so I hear, so there's about 5 or 6 things going on. How long ago did this start? Oh, so you've had this really forever. Tell me, about kind of the health of your mom and your dad and your sister and your brother, if you have any, even your grandparents. yeah, this has been going on. My grandmom had this, my mom had this. So then you start to get this picture. And then that person will say, of course, like, you know, I know my hormones are a wreck and the doctor wants to put me on bioidenticals. I'm really scared. And then you say back, well, I'm not a doctor and I'm not an OBGYN and I'm not, you know, certified to speak about that or your lab work. I really do encourage you to go speak with someone. But what do you feel is going on? So you're going to get your hormones tested. You're going to see, you're going to test your, you know, your blood sugar, see what's going on, like at the core foundation. What is really going on with you? You know, I just have no energy. I'm so tired. Now, given, can it be the hormones? But would I put her on a detox? The answer is no. I wouldn't be like, hey, you're tired, you're overwhelmed. You know, I would start her probably at clean eating because I will put $150,000 because I've heard this 20,000 times. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't have that much dairy, just a little in my coffee. Well, I mean, I don't really eat gluten, you know, it's just like every once in a while. And so you start to, in your head, be like, okay, so maybe I just need to start them at clean eating. Maybe I just need to start them. So what I was talking about today in my mastermind is what I call stacks. And I'm going to show you this in a second. Stacks is when you actually, so you hear the word sales funnel, but what you need to think about is your business funnel. Not even the sales funnel, your business funnel. What are the entry points for people to come and get to know you and potentially work with you? The stacks or the system for success becomes like when somebody's saying all these things to you in your head, what are you thinking would be the best route? And then, of course, having a conversation with them. Because to me, that's what coaching is about. We're not here to be like, you need, and you need. Because the truth is, people are so complicated. We are so complicated as humans. Our emotions, our everything feeds into the cortisol level is rising, adrenal issues, and all of a sudden we have all these histamine reactions. But if we just probably take out the 5 things that we shouldn't eat, we have that aha moment. So let me actually just show you. And this isn't, you don't need to see the words. I just want to show you. Let me just make sure. Okay, welcome. Okay, so you want to think of it like this. Okay. These are your free offers. So I'll then bring this, yeah. These are your free. This could be free. These could be, this could be low cost. And you want to think of this as stack 1. So say stack 1 is about sugar. All right? That is the theme. What is the freebie or what is the free class? What is it leading? Some people don't do this. Some people do this maybe for $7. Or maybe you go right to a gateway program. This could be online or offline. Gateway, online would be any program that is in between like 5 to, I like to be at 14. 21 is kind of pushing it. So I like to be at like 14. If you're not working online, because not everyone is a good fit. Let me just say this clearly. Not everyone is a phenomenal fit for online, guys. It's just not, it's, especially with algorithms changing so much, I see so many coaches getting frustrated and quitting because they think that people like me or people like Ariel Feldman who have done, you know, workshops, so it started just online. That is not the truth. We worked online, Facebook, in our friend community because nobody knew us, got our clients that way, our first clients. Then we branched out to people locally who we knew and we're doing lunch bunches and workshops and all that kind of stuff. So the idea is if you're not working right and it's not happening, God, just throw out the baby in the bathwater. I know it's it's like, I said this to someone the other day, they were in Europe and they're like, wow, you guys in America say that? It's not you. It's that either the authority hasn't been built or the message isn't clear. That's it. Or you're not clear on your offers. It's not, most often, it's just that the message, like, as I said, would I have converted the person who was looking for weight loss if I pushed a detox? No. So it's intuitively listening and thinking, what does this person really need? And if it's that you want to adopt what saved my business, is a single session. Now, for some of you, this might be in the format, not a single session, but maybe just you say 2 sessions, or maybe it's a month. So that your 3-tier work with me, which I'm going to be talking about tonight, shows your client the process that they could go through. So stack 1 is about sugar. This gateway should then relate to that freebie and also relate online or in that single session, especially with GDPR changing, guys. All right, so your opt-ins now have to say, sign up for this list and you'll get this free gift. If they choose not to get on your list, then you still have to give them the gift. What is important about GDPR in marketing is this. If somebody signs up for the stack of sugar, the way that you can still talk to them and communicate with them is it has to be on the topic of sugar. Hey, so we're actually going back to an old school type of marketing that was here before and that everyone did. Hey, I see you downloaded this on sugar. So happy that you're here. I struggled with, we're going back to the hero journey. I struggled with, this is what my life was like. I'm so happy that it changed and this is what I did. Put in that email. Say, hit reply if you want to know, if there's anything I can answer for you. So then maybe this person downloads something on sugar, but you could have another one on the best foods to give you energy. That still is in the sugar stack. So maybe one is like 5 smoothie bowls that are great, so you never have, cravings. Maybe one is a low-cost tripwire, like 7-day sugar cleanse. And then you lead them to a 6-week. That could be an online program. That could be an off. That could be in your one-on-one. So when you're thinking about stacks, you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even within this, what are the different opportunities for this person? Think about 5 opportunities. Even right now, we're going to make this interactive. What is one? One could be an opt-in. Another could be a different type of opt-in. Another could be maybe a live stream that you repurpose and you make it evergreen. There are so many ways to feed into this without making yourself certifiable, running in circles, but also to be creating a healthy business. Because I wish that was the case for my business, that, I didn't have to switch things up. I could just rock the same program. But I will close with this. Unless you have an unbelievable huge list, and nobody's opening emails. Nobody. It's always even shocking me when somebody goes, when are you launching? I'm like, I just sent that email out. So nobody's opening emails. So that means, what are you running off like a big list? Are you doing Facebook ads? So I want you to really think about how this can work for you, where you're always having sustainability offline. And if you are working online, to build that authority, to create the process. Just like when I'm interviewing Christina about her 47 signups. She breaks down the process. I'm interviewing Sarah, and she breaks down the process of her first time going from offline to online. It doesn't have to be complicated. I know it feels complicated and it feels like, oh my God, all these opt-in freebies, like what do I do? How do I balance my life? What am I actually going to be offering people? I want to partner with gyms, or I want to partner with doctor offices, or maybe you want to do corporate wellness, or maybe you just want to, work at a doctor's office. Whatever your desire is, think about the different ways for people to get to know you and all different financial and emotional and psychological needs. Not everyone is a good fit for one-on-one coaching. I truly believe that. That's why the challenges I did at the gym, the transformations, the mom groups, not everyone wants to sit one-on-one and have all the focus. It can be intense for people. So think about your business. Think about the different, the 4 different, you don't want to be doing everything. Think about like 4 different things you want people to know you for. So it's not that you're everywhere. It's that you're still focused, just like the example I gave with the hormones. Hormone might be your niche. What are the pain points under that? Weight gain, sleep issues, thyroid, adrenal, autoimmune, like the list goes on. So the messages always tie from that. But again, when you're sitting there on, a phone call with somebody, what do they really need? Or when you're sitting and you meet somebody, or you're at a cocktail party and you're talking to somebody and they say, what do you do? And you start telling them and they're like, wow, tell me more about that. That sounds so different from what everyone else does. Yeah. So I do weight loss totally different. I do it through the power, like I help you to naturally be at your weight through the power of cleansing and digestive love. And for those who struggle like me, with autoimmune, like I share every tip, tool, and trick because that stuff just ain't in a book. So think about what is working for you right now, what is not. Think about your vision for your whole business, and also think about your own behaviors. A big thing about having a health coaching practice, as many of you know, it's not necessarily the coaching. It's actually having the business, and how are you running that business, and what are you saying, and do you know your own system? Because if you don't know it, it's hard to really like step in and believe it. Let me just see what some of the questions are. Hey, Becky. Okay, Maria's saying, giving the client the program they need, not what you're selling. Yeah, I mean, look, I can think of everyone I've worked with by name, everyone. And if I just was like, we're working on gut, and of course, like no program has to be niche named. Like you can rework any program to fit that. But if I knew somebody like really was struggling in that area, or I knew a doctor's office like specialized in a certain, or there were CrossFit gyms or juice places, that's a place I would say. And I did. Hey, let's partner. Let's do this cleanse together. You do the juices and we'll supply it for your people here locally. Great. Wonderful. But I want you to more think about your program, the actual person it's for, and who is it not for. And that is how I always operated my business. I don't know what other people have made as, coaches who are business coaches. I don't know their whole story, because I think on Facebook, we don't always hear the whole story. I think we hear like the win, and we hear like, this is what worked for me. This is this blueprint, download it. But you don't see the behind the doors struggle of maybe building a business, or maybe they didn't build a business. And so it's a little tough in any arena. But some people, their zone of genius was not coaching. And so they found their purpose. But I know for me, it wasn't just this straight and narrow road. And I wish it was, because trust me, drop a hashtag school under if you agree with this. I came out of school, I thought everyone was going to hire me for $150 an hour. I thought, of course. And that didn't happen. And it seems to not be happening with most of the coaches that I'm seeing in forums. And I don't go into tons because they're often owned by other people, and I want to be really respectful. But sometimes I go into ones where I'm tagged and I see, coaches saying, I've spent all this money, or I spent this money and I built my site and now I'm redoing my site. I mean, everyone I graduated with was doing that, which is why I held off on my site even for a while until I was even clear what my people wanted, what I was about, what I was trying to, what journey I was trying to take people through. And that's not always super clear, and that's okay. And, I think that's something that not many of us hear often, that it's not just going to be, a quick snap. But the more that you get laser focused on your journey, what people are possibly Googling for, and start listening to, people when they do approach you, or when you are talking, and have a really clear and concise, this is what I do, this is what I went through, this is how I help people. With that being said, I hope to see you tonight. I'm going to be interviewing Jessica here. So let me know if you have any questions. And also, if you are struggling in something, sometimes we don't want to talk about that openly. Sometimes we're like, if you are struggling, reach out, because usually there is a softer and easier way. Trust me, I've done it all different ways. And for most of you, you are doing a 9-to-5. And for most of you, you're not doing this with a team. For most of you, you're not doing this with Facebook ads, and I didn't either. I did it from the ground up. I felt confused. I didn't always know where I was going, but I knew one thing, and that was to really tap always into the potential client instead of just tapping into my own needs. Does that feel good? So, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for sticking in. I hope this little baby was helpful, and I will be back later. So I will see you guys at 7, and bring a juice, a cup of tea, and we'll have a really, really fun time tonight, breaking down the work with me, talking about just the ins and outs of business and all that kind of stuff. Instead of it being just like webinar style, I really want it to also be like, what are you guys struggling with? Those are the best webinars to me. Those are the best times. It's actually hearing from people, like, where are you struggling in your business? Like, where do you feel like you need a little more clarity, so that you don't spin your wheels and you get into action and just do it instead of waiting for the perfect moment. So let me just see if there's any other. Okay. So have a beautiful day. Jessica, I will see you at 7. Bye, guys.